Hello, chess friends. Good to see you again. So we've learned all the pieces now. We know how they move. We know how they capture. It's time to get into serious business now. We start to play the game with full chess set. So what do we do in the opening? Two main ideas. We need to develop our pieces and to control the center. So these main ideas are very important and they go simultaneously. So in the first part of the lesson, in the first video, I'll show you how to develop the pieces, and the next video will cover the importance of the center, and I'll exemplify with moves done by an opponent that simply does not abide by these rules, and you will see the consequences of their non-abidance. So pardon the belligerent name that I have found, War for Territory. I just remembered one of my favorite bands, Sepultura from Brazil. They used to sing a song, War for Territory, and I thought it just works perfectly with the dominance in the game of chess as well, not just in the world of politics. Okay, so let me share the screen now, guys. So, developing of the pieces, very important. I always tell my students, boys and girls, you've got to move either the king's pawn or the queen's pawn and go with that pawn 2 squares forwards. Okay, so that's what we want to do. Now, of course, your opponent may play very many things here, but let me just play a couple of moves in order for you guys to get a better understanding of what I'm saying. Now, after you've played the middle pawn, namely, I mean, let's just say e4 because it's the most popular, most aggressive move here, opening the queen and the bishop. Right, then you're going to play knight to f3, already attacking squares and your opponent's half territory. So we are very happy with this move, knight f3. Not so much with knight h3. So don't get your knights at the edge. They are as half as efficient if they were developed on f3 towards the middle of the board. The same goes for the other knight. The same goes for the black knights. c6, f6, these are the happy squares. Knight f3, knight c3. Keep this in mind about the knights, very important. So as you've played the knight, move your bishop, okay? Keep in mind, middle pawn, knight, bishop, and then you're ready to castle your king, okay? So always castle the king as quickly as you can. When you'll be super grandmasters, then you can, make exceptions from these rules. Okay, but until then, I think it's incredibly healthy that you guys apply these principles. So you've castled the king. What's next? Well, if your opponent allows you to, go with the other pawn 2 squares forwards. Look, I mean, you control a lot of square in their half territory, so that's awesome. What next? Well, play the other bishop on f4. That's a very natural squares for your bishops. Nothing wrong with playing bishop g5 or bishop b5 to pinning the knights. There's nothing wrong. But c4 and f4 are also very good. Again, knight c3. What next? Well, you got to move the queen up. The white queen may go to e2 or d2. The black queen may play e7 or d7. Okay, because it's very important you move your rooks on the E and D column because you'll be breaking through. You'll be breaking in the center, attacking in the center here. So you need your rook support for this kind of endeavor. Okay, so boys and girls, that's the dream scenario. It's a sort of ideal setup here. It is very probably that your opponent won't just watch and sit how you develop your forces here, but just to keep in mind, if you can strive to move and develop your pieces as quickly as you can, don't just play the H pawn. I mean, some kids just make a lot of pawn moves in the opening. They moving twice the same piece in the opening. Don't do that. So once you develop the knight on f3, don't move it again unless you have an incredibly very good reason. Remember, it's very important that you develop all your minor pieces. When I say minor pieces, I'm referring to the knights and your bishops. So don't play twice the same the same piece in the opening. Don't expose your queen too early. So move it just to the second rank or seventh rank if you're having the black pieces. So that's the developing of your pieces, guys. On the next video, I'm going to show you what happens when your opponent completely neglects the developing and aiming its pieces in the center, and you will see what happens when they do that. Okay, thanks for watching, guys. Remember developing of the pieces and controlling of the center. Next lesson coming shortly.